Alright guys, as requested, this video is going to be on how to remove your rear wheel. It may seem like a pretty simple procedure, but it's actually a good thing to know how to do and learn how to do for a number of different reasons. First off, you can probably save about 20 bucks in a tire change if you just bring them the wheel rather than have them remove it from your bike. As you can see, I'm going to be looking into that pretty soon with my bike because we're getting just down to the markers. But if you just bring them the wheel, then they'll throw it on, usually for pretty cheap. Another thing, you'll need to know how to do this when, changing your bearings or inspecting your final drive if you've got rear diff like I do, or any number of other things, So it's important to practice this and learn how to do it, especially on the road. I keep all the tools that I need to do this on me in my saddlebags, which are tied up there so you can see what I'm doing. Before we get started, speaking of things I carry in my saddlebags, this is something that I've carried for a long time. It is actually a piece of wood wrapped up in duct tape. And I use this because Florida has a lot of sandy locations to park your bike, and I use this to put underneath my kickstand so it doesn't sink into the sand. And so that's just a really cheap, really easy thing that you can do to prevent your bike from falling over in the sand. Anyway, we're going to get started here. First thing I'm going to do is jack up, or not jack up, but I'm going to put my bike up on the center stand, and then I'm going to take a 2x4 or whatever and just sort of push it underneath here to give my rear wheel a little bit of lift while I'm working on it. Alright, now I'm going to take out these two bolts which hold on my caliper. We're loosen up this nut here and just sort of rotate the caliper up, making sure not to strain the brake line here, which is rubber, and also making sure to hold on to all my cotter pins so I don't have to replace them with keychain hooks or whatever this is, like I already have. So as you can see, that's up and out of the way, and then I just retightened this nut here, and it holds this thing up and in place. Next I'm going to go after the axle. What I have to do is release this bolt here, then take off this nut with its cotter pin, which I'm going to hang on to obviously, and then I use another axle or a long bolt or whatever to drive this one out. And this is why it's actually important to support your wheel at this point, because once I drive this axle out, then the wheel will not be supported by the swing arm anymore, and so it's only going to be supported by this drive shaft right here. And I'm sure it's plenty strong to hold up the wheel, and I'm sure that's just fine. I just don't want to put too much strain on it, so I support it until I'm ready to take it off. So here we go with that. Alright, so that's driven out. It's very likely that on your bike you're going to have any number of different spacers and washers and stuff. And so what I like to do to organize it so I don't get them mixed up and accidentally throw off my wheel is I'll just put it out here in order of that they were removed. So I got my drive shaft here. This is the bracket that supports the caliper. I've got this large washer here, and then this spacer goes directly up against my bearings in here. And then on this side we got another washer, the castle nut, and the cotter pin. So that's how I keep everything organized. Now I'm going to go after these three bolts right here, which connect my final drive to the drive shaft. Okay, so with these nuts and washers removed, this thing just rolls right on out of here. I try and not put the rotor surface down on concrete because it can scratch it and scour it, but on the grass it's okay. So I'll just lean that right down in there. As you can see, I'm dribbling a little bit of gear oil onto my tire there, so I'm going to want to be sure to wipe that off. It's not going to hurt the tire, but I don't want it to be too slippery next time I take off. And I can pop this one out of here and look at it. This is my secondary drive. Usually when I get in here I throw a little bit of grease in there, lube everything up, make sure all my spacers are installed properly and everything like that. Just grease everything up, I would just take this to to the tire shop and have them replace it. I'll throw a little bit of grease in there, inspect my pads for wear, you know, while I'm in here. Just look around, make sure everything's okay, and I'm sure that it is. Alright, so the reassembly is just, you know, the reverse, the removal. Not a whole lot to it, like I said, but if you guys have never done this before, it's a good thing to get in practice with if you have to ever do it on the side of the road during a long trip or whatever. So yeah, you guys stay tuned. I think that we're due for a bearing replacement sometime soon, so sometime within the next month when I get some time, I'm going to show y'all how to replace bearings, because this wheel actually took 20,000 miles ago. I took this wheel off of a 50,000 mile bike, and I can't say for sure whether or not these bearings have ever been replaced. They're not doing anything that would concern me and indicate that they need replacement. They're not squealing or nothing, but I think I'd rather do it rather than you know, have them seize up on me or whatever. So I think that's in my near future, but until then, this is as far as I'm going to take it. So y'all take it easy.